First of all, I want to tell everyone that in this video there are no clips related to the topic, because I am not an editor and I don't have a big team or budget to do so. If you want to hear the truth, then you can stay for the rest of the video, otherwise you can leave here. The world is changing faster than most people realize. The balance of power that once seemed carved in stone is now shifting right before our eyes. For the past century, the United States has been sitting comfortably at the top, calling itself the leader of the free world, the land of dreams, the global superpower. But power never stays in one place forever. History is full of empires that thought they would last forever only to wake up one morning and realize the sun had set on their dominance. The British Empire learned that lesson, Rome learned that lesson, and now America is showing cracks that even Hollywood special effects cannot hide. And right as America begins to stumble, another giant is rising steadily with quiet determination. That giant is India. Now, when some people hear the phrase India becoming a superpower, they roll their eyes. They think of crowded streets, cricket matches, spicy food, or Bollywood songs. But those who laugh today may not be laughing tomorrow, because India is building something far bigger than an image. It is building an economy, a young workforce, a tech revolution, a cultural identity that the world cannot ignore. America once looked unstoppable, but today it looks distracted, divided, and in many ways past its prime. So the big question is simple. Are we living in the age where India rises as the next global superpower while the United States slowly loses its grip on the throne? Let us start with economics, because money talks louder than politics or ideology. Not too long ago, India was written off by the West as a developing country that would always stay in the background. Yet today, India has become the fifth largest economy in the world. Bigger than the United Kingdom, the very empire that once colonized it. There is something poetic about that. It is like the student surpassing the teacher, except this teacher had looted the student for 200 years. And India is not stopping there. By 2030, economists predict India could be the third largest economy, right behind China and the United States. But here is the twist. America is growing at about 2% a year, while India is sprinting at 6 or even 7%. At this pace, the gap keeps shrinking. It is like America is walking on a treadmill while India is running a marathon outside. One is sweating but not moving, the other is racing toward the finish line. And what fuels India's rise? The answer is its people. Half of India's population is under the age of 30. That means India has the youngest workforce in the world. While the United States and Europe are struggling with aging populations, India is overflowing with young, ambitious workers hungry for opportunity. This is not just a demographic advantage, this is a superpower in itself. Imagine 1 billion people not just consuming but producing, innovating, coding, creating startups, building infrastructure. That is an energy the world has not seen since America's own boom in the 1950s. And the jokes write themselves. In Silicon Valley, if you bump into a CEO, there is a good chance his name is Sundar or Satya. Google, Microsoft, Adobe, IBM, MasterCard, the list of global companies run by Indians is longer than a Mumbai traffic jam. America invented Silicon Valley, but Indians are running half of it. That should tell you something about where the brains of the future are coming from. Meanwhile, the United States is facing its own challenges. For decades, America thrived on immigration, on pulling the best minds from around the world. But now, immigration policies have become messy and political. Talented students from India and China who once dreamed of staying in America are now going back home and building billion-dollar companies there. That brain drain is real, and it is America's loss. Because guess what? A brilliant engineer who cannot get a US visa is not going to sit idle. He is going to build the next unicorn startup in Bangalore or Hyderabad instead of Silicon Valley. But let us not forget geopolitics. America has always been the policeman of the world, getting into wars, setting up bases, telling others how to run their countries. But after Iraq, after Afghanistan, after endless spending and endless mistakes, even Americans are tired of being the world's babysitter. And while America pulls back, India is stepping forward. Not with invasions, but with influence. India is striking trade deals with Europe, buying cheap oil from Russia, investing in Africa, strengthening ties with Japan, Australia, and the Middle East. It is playing smart, balancing East and West, and making itself indispensable. The US used to say, if you are not with us, you are against us. India says, if you are with us, you will profit. That is a very attractive pitch. Now let us talk technology. America gave the world the internet, but India is showing how to use it at scale. India built the world's largest digital ID system. It built a digital payment system so advanced that while Americans are still signing checks in 2025, Indians are paying street vendors with QR codes in seconds. In fact, India makes more digital payments per year than the United States and China combined. Imagine that. The so-called leader of tech innovation is still stuck with credit cards that charge insane fees while India is living in a cashless future. And humor aside, that matters. Because whoever controls the technology that billions use daily controls the future economy. America has Apple Pay, sure. But India has UPI, a system so simple and universal that even the smallest shopkeeper in a village can accept money instantly. That is not just convenience. That is transformation. Culturally, too, India is spreading its wings. Bollywood songs trend on TikTok. Indian food is on every street corner in major cities. Yoga and meditation are now billion-dollar industries worldwide. Hollywood might still be bigger, but cultural influence is no longer one-sided. And unlike America's exports, which sometimes feel shallow or celebrity-obsessed, India's cultural exports are tied to deep traditions that people actually find enriching. The US gave the world the Kardashians. India gave the world Namaste and samosa. One fills your stomach, the other empties your brain. You decide which is better. But it is not all rosy. India still faces challenges. Poverty, pollution, inequality, corruption. These are real obstacles. Yet the difference is trajectory. India is moving upward despite its flaws, while America seems stuck in neutral or even sliding backward. The US debt is over $30 trillion and climbing. The political system is so divided that passing a budget feels harder than landing a rocket on Mars. And social divisions are growing wider every year. America once united people with the promise of opportunity. Now it divides them with culture wars that make no one happy. Meanwhile, India is messy but united by ambition. Ask any young Indian what they want and they will say a better life, more opportunity, global respect. That hunger cannot be underestimated. The Global South, meaning developing nations across Africa, Asia, and Latin America, used to look up to America as a role model. Now they look at India and say, if they can do it, maybe we can too. India is not seen as a colonizer or an invader, but as a partner. That soft power is priceless. So is India destined to replace the US completely? Maybe not immediately. America still has the world's largest military, a strong economy, and global cultural reach. But superpower status is not just about who has the biggest aircraft carrier. It is about who sets the tone of the century. And right now, America looks like it is holding onto the past while India is writing the future. Think of it like this. America is the old star quarterback who once won championships but is now struggling with age and injuries. India is the rookie stepping onto the field with energy, speed, and nothing to lose. The crowd can sense it. The momentum is shifting, and the game will never be the same again. So when we ask, will India become the next superpower, the answer is not just yes or no. The answer is that it already is becoming one. Every deal signed, every company founded, every satellite launched, every young mind educated brings it closer to the top. The United States will not vanish overnight, but its unchallenged dominance is fading. The future is multipolar, and India will be one of the poles holding up the world. And maybe that is a good thing. A world led not by one power lecturing everyone else, but by many powers working together. A world where India brings its philosophy of unity in diversity to the global stage. A world where rising does not mean crushing others, but lifting them. That is the hope anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing history. The 21st century will not belong to America alone. It will belong to those who innovate, those who adapt, those who have the courage to rise from the shadows into the light. And India is doing just that. The world should take notice because the roar of 1 billion people cannot be ignored forever. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into the rise of India and the decline of America, make sure to subscribe this channel, hit that bell icon, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Do you think India will become the next superpower, or do you believe America will bounce back? Let us know below. Your voice matters, and your support keeps us bringing you powerful stories like this one.